Transformations and power-ups have been a common trope in numerous fictional works for decades. From the iconic Dragon Ball Z series that showcased Son Goku's rage with the golden glow of a Super Saiyan, the demonic shrieking and overwhelmingly powerful Vastalorde state that Ichigo Kurosaki unleashed in his intense battle with Ulquiorra, to the marked and elegant, long-haired Mazoku state from Yu Yu Hakusho's Yusuke Urameshi that helped him defeat an S-class fighter named Shinobu Sensui that was hell-bent on bringing ruin to the Earth. However, the Godzilla franchise is also no stranger to transformations, as we have seen the explosive prowess of the 90s Burning Heisei Godzilla, who went down in a blaze of glory after helping the humans defeat Destoroyah. Now, with the addition of Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, the radioactive hyper lizard, Big G, has once again obtained a new form, known as Evolved Godzilla, which adorned him with a bright pink glow and 20 times the energy capacity, a form that was inspired by the Kaioken technique from Dragon Ball Z's Saiyan Saga. Much like how there are constant debates regarding which evolution of Ichigo is stronger between his final Getsuga Tensho state or his Horn of Salvation form, there have been similar disagreements over which of Godzilla's power-ups is superior. Although the movie infers that Godzilla has obtained its largest power-up yet, they never really touch up on its comparison to Burning Godzilla's power levels during the Boston battle against King Ghidorah. Luckily for us, with the official movie novelization releasing recently, I decided to read it in order to find out once and for all which form is the strongest. So without further ado, let's get right into it. One of the first pieces of evidence that infers that Evolved Godzilla is superior to the Burning Godzilla state is revealed to us in the novel when the characters discuss Supercharged Godzilla, the bright blue glowing Goji, who absorbed energy from a nuclear power plant prior to his face-off with Tiamat. It's said that the Supercharged Godzilla had energy levels that reminded the Monarch staff of the levels he unleashed in the Ghidorah battle, albeit not as extreme, but still very, very worrying. This implies that Supercharged Godzilla, although not as strong as Burning Godzilla, is at least in a relative range. So, if the supernova-looking Godzilla is like a 10, then we could say that Supercharged Godzilla is like a 7 through a 9, or something like that. With this form, he is able to defeat Tiamat, who is quite powerful in her own right, since in the Dominion comic, which is canon to the monsterverse, she managed to defeat the Rival, a member of Kong's species who drove a younger Big G out of his lair long ago. The novel even implies that after their battle a few years ago in the comic, she had likely grown even stronger after chilling in her lair, absorbing solar winds in the process, with her abode being referred to in the movie and the novel as being the largest stockpile of energy on Earth, which would likely put it above the multitudes of Hollow Earth portals that already have energy levels comparable to that of supernovas, as revealed in the Monarch Legacy of Monsters show. And if you're interested in how this scales Godzilla, I go more in depth with this in my Godzilla vs. Omni-Man video. So, if Godzilla thought that he needed a boost of some comparable magnitude to his burning state to take care of the supercharged Tiamat, it implies that Tiamat is already relative to or somewhat comparable to King Ghidorah, minus his whole environmental destruction shenanigans. As an important side note, by the way, the novel also makes it clear that if the Scar King kept fighting Kong, he would eventually lose. The book also notes Zuko's belief that Kong could have eventually beaten the Scar King one-on-one. After Godzilla defeats Tiamat, he starts consuming every bit of energy from her crib, obtains part of her genetic code, and an even denser molecular structure. Once he emerges and faces off against Shimo, he matches up with her somewhat, although it's not quite clear on who had the clear advantage overall. On one hand, the narration implies that Godzilla was doing better in their encounter, but Kong perceived that Godzilla was unsure of how the battle would go, and the ape also believed that Shimo was stronger. Hampton also comments that it would be a toss-up between the two titans. However, at one point, it's stated that Shimo's Ice Age creating Frost Blast had overwhelmed Godzilla, and if it wasn't for Mothra's help, he would have likely been screwed. Regardless, if Godzilla is at least comparable to Shimo, who managed to overwhelm Ghidorah long ago, then he should logically be superior to his burning state at this point. To further confirm this, the characters also comment that when Godzilla was charging up his atomic breath, that there had never been a reading as massive as that before. It's also said that the radiation he fired was stronger than ever before, meaning that it's even above the nuclear pulses that Godzilla used against a golden space wyvern. So generally, I think it's quite clear that this pink, spikier Godzilla is superior to his burning red, supernova-esque state. At this point, only time will tell what bizarre and overwhelming new threats Godzilla will face with this new form, and whatever new evolutions he gets down the line.